And yeah, those things, as me and Ansimo mentioned, should be tied to marketing. Like big things are input into the game. Hey guys, come check it out. We have this new amazing thing. So, Gunslinger, how do you think that should go?
Okay, well, I want to start by saying that I can't really talk on what they should do with China because I have no idea about their gaming culture and how things go there. But I can talk about the quite a few of the things I thought went wrong with wargaming. And one of the big things was I think the problem wasn't that they weren't spending enough money. I mean, obviously more money would help, but where and how they spent it was pretty flawed in quite a few cases I'm going to go over here. But one of the big ones that happened was the streamer and YouTuber sponsorships. I don't know if you guys remember when that happened, but uh, it was a few weeks after they made um, AI battles required for lower tiers, and that was its own problem. But basically, yeah, they made lower tiers easier and AI only to preferably either because they weren't getting enough new players or something like that. And then right after that, they went on a big binge of sponsoring some pretty big streamer and YouTubers. Like the couple I remember are Yogcast and Angry Joe, who's really big in NA. But yeah, around that time, they were getting sponsored, and they were only getting sponsored to do like one stream or one video. And in that stream or video, they only had enough time to really go through the AI matches. And that was just a horrible way to show off the game. And I think that drove a lot of potential customers away because a lot of people who play Total War games had like no real idea the game even existed until seeing those streams, and then just seeing them beat up on AI, and um, that was pretty bad. But one thing they could have done was either pair them up with current content creators to already play the game and know what they're doing, and also give them some exposure along with it. But I think most of the problem was just they made it AI only, and then like the Oddcast one I remember was pretty horrendously bad because like the last battle they played was the only PvP battle they played, and it ended with him getting kited by a Versi, or Vercingetorix. He was playing Roman infantry, and then he got burned to death. And yeah, everyone was pretty flaming the game pretty hard in Twitch chat at that point. But no, what they should, what I think they should have done was either pair them with better people or given them actual press accounts to play higher tier games where the game actually plays like it should. Another thing they did was sponsorships for history videos, like they did with what was it called? Whatever that history channel is, they sponsored a video, but basically that gives a decent impression, but nowadays kind of we see with like Raid Shadow Legends, it's pretty much just a meme and doesn't usually end that well. But unless you sponsor people who actually are interested in it or show some sort of interest in showing the game how it should be shown. But just random people who don't really care about the game at all and shouldn't really be expected to. It didn't really work out that well. And next thing that was pretty big was the tournaments. I think the only real tournament Wargaming provided was Rise of the Commanders. And we think everyone here knows how that ended up. It was not very pretty. Mostly just because the game was in a pretty big state of flux and was changing quite a bit. Stakes were overpowered. Yeah, it was kind of a clusterfuck, but the prize pool is also pretty low for that, so not really much incentive to try super hard other than our passion for the game. But it wasn't too bad, but it definitely could have been a lot better to show off the game. Um, Also, like the little ads that they showed, I know a few times they did Google AdSense campaigns, um, and those looked pretty bad. Uh, I mean, they make it kind of look like a mobile game, honestly, but um, I think just being able to show more actual gameplay and maybe uh, giving more exposure to the current content creators somehow would have been a lot better. That actually had the passion to show off how the game's meant to be played and things like that. But yeah, I think that's about it for what I got.
Okay, yeah. So I really like the idea you've mentioned of, I don't know, of pairing like those big content creators such as Angry Joe, Yorkcast, or whatever, with current content creators, like those big names into the war community, such as Lionheart, for example, Pixel Apollo, Jackie Fish, whoever, who know the game obviously much better than those other content or completely new content creators to these games, to show the game of properly, and instead of just showcasing a noob wandering around in the dark, who has no idea what to do in the game. He's been paid to play and show off on his stream. That's a really good idea. And you've also mentioned their mistimings, you know, sponsoring the content creators when the game was in not such a good state. It also tied into, I mean, the same happened with the release of closed beta and open beta. So they released, they changed from closed beta to open beta. No, from closed alpha to closed beta first. And that was when they promoted the game on Gamescom. But they did that before fixing pathfinding. So everyone who played the game for the first time on Gamescom, and then the huge wave of players that would come after the announcement of, okay, we're changing from closed alpha to closed beta, right? Like all those players, their first hands-on experience with Total War Arena was with that terrible pathfinding, and the units just doing whatever the hell they wanted instead of doing what the player wanted them to do. So yeah, I imagine a lot of players got instantly turned off by the game and never returned because they completely missed time the marketing department with the development department. They fixed it pretty soon after the closed beta, but still, it left a bad taste in the mouth of many players. Then the same happened with the switch to open beta, where everyone can sign up. You don't have to wait for a confirmation email. They didn't do the commander level cap, so new players in tier 1 to 5 battles could still run into Vengeance 10, basically clubbers. So yeah, that was also quite a mistiming.
One thing I'd like to add, a lot of the advertising Wargaming did do, I know they did a lot towards the other World of Games communities, like World of Tanks and World of Warships. They had a lot of cross marketing there, and I think that created a pretty big conflict of interest for Wargaming because they were driving players away from their proven cash money franchises and into Arena, and then Arena wasn't really built to siphon money out of people like those games were. So kind of created a big conflict of interest there where they wanted to advertise it because it's their game, but it just wasn't really a smart money move, I don't think.
Well, that's also the next thing I wanted to mention is, the target audiences that they actually targeted. With sponsorship of those big streamers, they're targeting the overall gaming population. But from what I've heard, by just visiting streams of other Total War streamers, and I just randomly mentioned Total War Arena in the chat, there were a lot of people, like fans of Total War franchise, that had no idea that Total War Arena exists. This is, I think, by far the biggest failure of marketing that Wargaming NCA has done. So yeah, they sponsor the big streamers, but they didn't keep sponsoring the most common audiences. Like the conversion rate, of stream to people actually starting and picking up the game. If you sponsor the Total War content creators or games that are very similar, including exactly wargaming games, because I think that there are many common themes between World of Warships and World of Tanks and Arena. So advertising to those communities, I don't think it's a bad idea, especially since those content creators usually, have more.
Oh no, it was a good idea.
About
not what I
wargaming.
meant.
Yeah,
But I meant it was a bad idea from wargaming from a business perspective to bring people into a game that wasn't making as much money.